A fiery protest erupted at the Tennessee state capitol as a group of demonstrators stormed the building to oppose the removal of 3 lawmakers who disrupted House floor proceedings during a protest for stricter gun control measures. The crowd, adorned in March for Our Lives branded clothing, chanted, "No more silence, end gun violence," and "Free the Tennessee 3," in a bid to urge lawmakers to take action on gun control and vote against the expulsion of the Democrats. The protest comes after House Speaker Cameron Sexton, a Republican, called for the expulsion of the 3 lawmakers, stating that their actions rose to the level of misconduct that necessitates removal. With tensions high, the state's political future hangs in the balance, and the nation is watching closely to see how this will impact the fight for gun control measures across the country. The uproar follows the tragic shooting at Nashville's Covenant School, where 6 people, including 3 children, were killed. The incident has reignited the long-standing debate on gun control, with many calling for stricter measures to prevent such senseless violence. The Democrats behind the upheaval, Gloria Johnson, Justin Jones, and Justin Pearson, have been vocal supporters of gun control measures, and their expulsion has been met with criticism from advocates who see it as an attack on their cause. Jones, who has been at the forefront of the protests, took to Twitter to voice his opposition, calling the move morally insane. He argued that his gestures of solidarity with constituents calling for stricter gun control measures should not be met with expulsion. The Republicans, on the other hand, have stood by their decision, arguing that the 3 Democrats disrupted proceedings and led protesters in the overhead balcony, creating chaos in the House chamber. The protest, which started both inside and outside the Capitol, is a sign of the growing frustration and anger over the lack of progress on gun control measures. The issue has been a contentious one for years, with both sides of the political divide holding firm to their beliefs. As the nation continues to grapple with gun violence, the Tennessee state capitol has become the latest battleground in the fight for change. With protesters demanding action and lawmakers facing expulsion, the stakes are high, and the outcome remains uncertain. Only time will tell whether this protest will lead to meaningful change or become just another footnote in the ongoing debate over gun control in America. The protest at the Tennessee state capitol is just one of many that have occurred across the country in recent years, as advocates for gun control continue to push for legislative action. The issue has become increasingly divisive, with some arguing that the right to bear arms is enshrined in the Constitution and should not be infringed upon. However, advocates for gun control argue that the Second Amendment was written in a different time and that there is a need to reassess the role of guns in modern society. They point to the high number of gun-related deaths in the U.S., particularly among children and teenagers, as evidence that something needs to change. The debate has been complicated by the powerful gun lobby, which has successfully lobbied lawmakers to oppose measures that would restrict access to guns. This has led to a stalemate in Congress, with little progress made on the issue in recent years. Despite this, advocates for gun control remain hopeful that change is possible. The protests at the Tennessee state capitol, and elsewhere across the country, are a sign that people are willing to speak out and demand action. As the protest continues, lawmakers in Tennessee will have to decide whether to listen to the voices of their constituents or to continue to resist calls for change. Whatever the outcome, the fight for gun control in America is far from over. The protest at the Tennessee state capitol highlights the deep division in the state and the nation on the issue of gun control. The tragic shooting at Nashville's Covenant School has once again reignited the debate and brought the issue to the forefront of the public's attention. The protesters at the Capitol are demanding that lawmakers take action to address the issue and prevent future tragedies from occurring. They argue that the right to bear arms does not mean a right to unchecked access to guns and that reasonable restrictions are necessary to protect public safety. However, opponents of gun control argue that such restrictions would infringe upon their constitutional rights and that the focus should be on enforcing existing laws and addressing mental health issues rather than passing new legislation. Subscribe for more content like this. The tension between these two viewpoints has made it difficult to find common ground on the issue of gun control. But the voices of those who are advocating for change are becoming louder and more persistent. The Tennessee House Speaker's call for the expulsion of 3 Democratic lawmakers who led the gun control protest has drawn widespread criticism from advocates of free speech and democracy. They argue that the lawmakers were simply exercising their right to protest and that their actions should not be grounds for expulsion. The protest at the Tennessee state capitol serves as a reminder that the debate on gun control is not just a political issue, but a deeply personal one for many Americans. For those who have lost loved ones to gun violence, the issue is a matter of life and death. As the protest continues, it remains to be seen whether lawmakers will take meaningful action on gun control or continue to resist calls for change. But one thing is clear: the voices of those who are advocating for change will not be silenced. In conclusion, the protest at the Tennessee state capitol highlights the ongoing debate and division over the issue of gun control in the United States. The tragic shooting at Nashville's Covenant School has reignited the discussion and brought it to the forefront of public attention once again. While the protesters demand action from lawmakers to address the issue and prevent future tragedies, opponents of gun control argue that such measures would infringe upon their constitutional rights. This tension has made it challenging to find common ground on the issue, but the voices of those who advocate for change are becoming more persistent. The call for the expulsion of 3 Democratic lawmakers who led the gun control protest has drawn criticism from advocates of free speech and democracy. It underscores the importance of respecting the rights of citizens to peacefully protest and exercise their freedom of speech. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel for authenticity.